Alright. Welcome. This is Devin from Deadly Art Gamings. For those coming the first time, welcome. For those coming back, welcome back. Today we are going over in this video the game balancing changes for the new expansion of Path of Exile, Echoes of the Atlas. This was just released probably about 20-30 minutes ago, so I'm gonna go ahead and go through it with y'all. I've briefly gone through some of it, but I wanted to go through it with y'all, kind of my impressions with it, just with y'all. So I'm gonna read through. I'm not gonna read every bit of it because it is a little bit long, and I don't want this to be an hour-long video. So I will leave a link to this down below. So essentially, uh, as with every new league, an expansion release, we're making a variety of balance and changes to broaden the number of builds that are competitive in the end game, while lowering the power of specific mechanics that outclass the rest. We've outlined the most important changes below and discuss our reasoning and methodology. Specified values will be available to read tomorrow in the patch notes. So this is going to be a brief overview. It's not going to be the big details, which we'll get here tomorrow, which will be the patch notes, and that's where you're going to get all the juicy details from there. But before we go any further, just to let y'all know, I do have a giveaway going on down below for a copy of Last Epoch. If you want to get on that, go down there, click the link, and get entered to win a copy. I will be doing a drawing at the end of the month for that, and then I'll be doing a giveaway every month going forward. So. If you do like the content, smash that like button. Also, if you want to get notified whenever I release new content, my live streams, all that fun stuff, smash that subscribe button so you're notified when I release new info. Also, Discord link down below. Come join us. We'd be more than happy to have you. I'll be playing with my community on Path to Exile once the expansion releases. If y'all need help farming something, just someone to play around with, I'll be more than happy to join you. You can join me. Other games as well, Lost Epoch, other games. If y'all have them, looking for someone to play with, let me know. Come join us. Love to have you. So we're gonna go ahead and go through. I'm not, like I said, I'm not gonna read through everything, but I am gonna go through the ascendancy stuff, and then I'm kind of go through some of the other stuff as well. But I'm gonna read all this part here because some of it's kind of interesting. Um, in addition to the reworking the Elementalist, the Inquisitor, and the Deadeye, we've made several changes to every Ascendancy uh, class. Rather than go over every single change, here are the general philosophies behind the changes. So this is where the wording gets kind of fun. Improve interesting stats on Ascendancies while removing less interesting or less essential secondary stats. Okay, well, I would like to know what they consider interesting compared to us considering interesting or less interesting. This brings these ascendancies closer to the style and design intent of Pact of Exile 2's ascendancies, while notable passives have fewer stats but are individually more impactful and interesting. For example, Quartz Infusion on the Raider now grants phasing at all times, um, and a 15% chance to dodge attacks and spell hits. That's going to be interesting. Previously, it granted a variety of ways of gaining phasing, a damage increase, and a smaller attack dodge value. Um, Rebalancing the power of notables within ascendancies. We want the choice between notables to be more flexible, with power moved away from generic bonuses. For example, Master of Metal has had one additional impale hit and its chance to impale removed as the passive granted too much power. While inspirational now gives a higher value of aura effect in place of its movement speed bonus to focus more power on its aura investment. Here we go. Rebalance the power between ascendancies to encourage players to re-examine optimal strategies. For example, the Trickster Escape Artist node provided too large a consideration concentration of offensive and defensive power for hybrid evasion and energy shield um, characters. So the chance to dodge spell hits if you have energy seal has been removed, while the attack and cast per Ghost Shroud has been slightly lowered. The Slayer's Masterful Form node was seldom taken and wasn't providing enough power as it should, even for Frenzy Charge. Invested characters, so now grants +1 to maximum Frenzy charges instead of charge duration modifiers. Interesting. Um, Reallocate stats between ascendancy passives and change the layout or bonuses of the ascendancy where it would make a ascendancy more attractive to a wider range of character builds. For example, the chaos cold damage over time modifiers on occultists, withering presence and frigid weight instead grant more chaos cold damage instead, making these nodes useful for hit-based chaos and cold builds, while leaving the nodes similarly powerful for chaos and cold damage over time builds. Now, for those aura stackers out there, you know who you are, that was abusing the system even though they left it there to be that way. Made some really powerful builds. But so they're actually kind of starting to rein that in a bit here. As a new mechanics have been introduced and players have been optimized builds, characters using multiple ores have grown significantly in power, both offensively and defensively. These builds moved above our acceptable top end level of power. The addition of alternate quality gems effects on aura gems, which added effects or extra effects to your auras, were a large contribution to this, so we had to make a few radical changes here. And here's the fun part. Aura alternate qualities that granted you and nearby enemies or allies extra effects have all had significantly value reductions. Um, and then the passives, small passive changes on cluster jewels have granted increased effect of non-curse auras from our skills, and increased effect of your curses now grant 3% from 6 and 5 respectively. These developed stats are scarce on the regular passive tree, often requiring large investment to reach each cluster. And then we have also adjusted the cluster dual nodal passive stalwart commander and first among equals, as they also were providing too much accessible aura effect. So looks like they're trying to kind of rein in that aura stacking power that everybody was kind of taking advantage of. Um, Impale is also getting a little bit of a tweak by using the Impale keystone in combination with the Call of Steel skill. Warcry based characters could deal unreasonably large amount of damage with a single hit, followed up with a Call of Steel. So now the Impaler Keystone now prevents Call of Steel from removing impales from enemies for 4 seconds after you impale them. So that's going to change that up a little bit. So those that like the impale builds, that'll kind of change that up a bit. So essentially, for all builds utilizing Call of Steel, the Lord of Steel unique jewels provide 2 large damage bonus from a single item. The Lord of Steel jewels that granted increased reflect damage now grant 20 to 25% increased reflect damage from 40 to 50. Um, so that is a little bit of a nerf there on that setup there. Also, a bit of a nerf on minions. The Raised Specters and Golem minions builds usually outclass other minion alternatives and are one of the most optimal mid investment builds. So, we've made some significant reductions to their power. So, if you like to use the Golems, Specters, these are getting a bit of a nerf. Raised Specters will now be monster level 72 at level 20 gem from 76. So that's a 4 level decrease. So that's going to have a little bit of an impact there. Have lowered accuracy to roughly match the raised zombies at the same monster level, and slightly slower monster level scaling past um, gem level 20. So it's definitely going to be um, interesting. In addition, we have made minor changes to the Day of Toll Specters, which no longer grant reduced damage taken to allies and grant slightly less chance to dodge attacks and spells for their Snow Cloak skill, as this ability was providing more defensive power than some of the most effective player-based skills. So definitely interesting there. I know a lot of people were getting that. They have of toll. Carrion golems and stone golems have had their damage reduction at all levels. The carrion golem getting the more severe reduction as their power exceeded that of other golem types. Elementalist golem passives in general provide fewer offensive bonuses to golems, in part because the rest of the elementalists now provides effects that can increase damage taken by enemies. So now I'm kind of wondering how the carrion golem build's gonna work this league. So I was thinking about going that this league. Let's see. Minion related cluster jewel notables, Rot Claw and Renewal. These are a big one. Have had their value reductions as they provided effective damage multipliers at high value, which we all kind of saw. So that's gonna hurt the minion builds quite a bit more. We've made buffs to the damage of skeleton mages, the speed of unearth, and the offering effect of the leash of oblation. Unique belt, as they were not as powerful as other alternatives. So it looks like they made some adjustments to some of the underused skills. These are only a couple of them. Scorching Ray now has a base crit cast time of 0.25 seconds from 0.5, so half the time of the cast time of it. Scorching Ray now has a mana cost of 2 to 5 from 4 to 11. It's a bit of a change on the high side. Let's see here. This makes the skill ramp up damage on tougher enemies much faster and reaches the state where it applies fire exposure faster. Corbalash projectiles now deal 5% more damage for each remaining chain. Corbalash now converts 60% of physical damage to chaos damage from 50, so a little bit more conversion there. This damage multiplier per remaining chain has been added, as there is no longer a stat of this kind in the Deadeye Ascendancy, and the mechanic is an interesting way to improve Cobra Lash. The skills conversion has been increased to make it easier to fully convert the skills damage to chaos. Frost Bomb now has an additional damage effectiveness of 300% instead of 200. Now deals 14 to 21 cold damage at level 1 unchanged, up to 1336 to 2003 at gym level 20, up from 959 to 1439. So a bit of a damage increase on the once you get it leveled up. Frostbomb now gains additional radius at the gym level as the gym levels, up to +7 at gym level 20. Um, so that'll be interesting for that. Other skill changes. Earth Shatter now has slightly more variance on the distance spikes, or appear from the initial slam location, and the explosion radius for spikes have been slightly lowered. The intent of these changes is to reduce the spike explosion overlap, particularly on large single targets. And here's one the Contagion guys won't like. Contagion is, I mean, it's not a huge thing. We'll have to see how much of a decrease it's going to be. Contagion has had a small reduction to the skill's radius in combination with Essence Drain. It has consistently been one of the most efficient clears to clear packs of the monsters. So we'll have to see how small of a reduction that is to see how much of a hindrance that's going to be on the Contagion builds. Flash charge on critical strike cooldown. The internal cooldown of effects that grant flash charges on critical strike have been lowered from 0.2 seconds to 0.1 second, making them a more consistent and effective way to generate black charges. So that'll be interesting there. Unique items, Replica Nobilis. Provided too much potential damage for a single item, particularly for builds that didn't care much about survivability. Now has 15 to 20% increased cold damage from 3 to 5 per 1% missing cold resistance, up to a maximum of 300%, and 15 to 20% increased fire damage from 3 to 5% per 1% missing fire resistance, up to a maximum of 300%. And those caps do persist with dual wielding as well. Replica Alberon's Warpath now grants 1 to 80 chaos damage per 80 strength, previously 50. There we go. And then Murder of Innocence and Disintegrator no longer grant added damage with spells. Now grant the new Battle Mage keyword instead, which grants added spell damage equal to the damage of your main hand weapon. These have been changed because of how powerful their damage would be if the player had Battle Mage from the Inquisitor's reworked Instruments of Virtue node. Alternate quality changes. Anomalous Arctic armor no longer triggers when hit effects from reflected damage. Divergent Plague Bearer no longer grants reduced chaos damage taken while incubating. It proved to significant a defensive bonus, particularly for builds utilizing the Divine Flesh Keystone. Essentially, when combined with quality enhancing effect, it now causes the Plague Bearer buff to have a 0.5% to poison damage over time multiplier, sorry, while infecting per 1% gem quality. Anomalous Kinetic Bolt, Plague Bear, and Scourge Arrow have been lowered in power to be more in line with the power of their other quality effects. Um, and then last, we got the Far Shot as part of changes to the Deadeye Ascendancy. Far Shot has been changed. It now causes your projectiles to deal 20% less damage at very close range. Previously, no penalty, so bit there. Up to 60% more damage at a range of 70 or greater. Previously, 30% more damage as soon as a projectile reached this range with no upward scaling. Um, so definitely interesting for the spar shot there. Tailwind, as part of the changes to Deadeye Ascendancy, the Tailwind buff now grants 8% increase action speed from 10, so that got lowered a little bit. The intent is to slightly lower the power of the influence modifier while keeping it similarly powerful as on the Deadeye. Um, Elemental Aegis effects to improve the general strength of Aegis effects as part of adding Primal Aegis to the Elementalist. All Aegis effects, such as the one granted by Magna Eclipsis, is no longer have their recharge timer interrupted by damage if the buff is depleted. This makes the Aegis skills a much more reliable defensive mechanic when regularly taking damage. Um, so definitely some interesting changes, interesting nerfs. Like I said, it's just a brief overview. It's not everything just yet, so those will be coming in the patch notes tomorrow, which can't wait for that. Um, but let me know what y'all think. Do you think they went a little bit overboard on, say, the minions, or uh, are you glad they kind of are trying to rein in the aura stackers? What's your opinions? What do you think? Like I said, I'll leave a link to this down below, and let me know what y'all think. If you do like the contents, make sure you smash that like button. Definitely appreciate it. Helps out the channel. And don't forget the giveaway down below for a copy of Last Epoch. The giveaway will be end at the end of the month, and I will be giving a game out every month. Also, don't forget to smash that subscribe button. That way you can get notified next time I bring out more information, and also my live streams, all that fun stuff. And Discord link down below. Come join us, chit chat with us. If you ever need someone to run with, trying to farm something, need help, or anything like that, feel free to jump in there, ask any questions, leave a comment down below of any questions. But other than that, my name is Devin from Deadly Art Gaming. You all have a great one. I'll see y'all next time.